Hi, I'm Chef Amrita Raichand and I welcome you all to Keep It Fresh, Keep It Healthy series of recipes by Asahi Kasei. Well, a lot of people ask me for eggless cake recipes. So I thought I'm going to use this opportunity to show you how an easy eggless cake is made and how it is made with using Asahi Kasei baking sheet, which does not need any greasing, which easily helps you to demold the cake. Basically, it's a baker's delight. So let's begin. First, I'm going to preheat my oven at 180 degrees. Yep. All right. And now I have got a big bowl here in which I'm going to start creaming my butter and sugar. But before that, I'm going to mix my flour with some baking soda, baking powder. It's always nice to mix all the dry ingredients first so that they get evenly distributed, and my cocoa powder. So I have added all these ingredients. I'm just going to mix this well with the help of a whisk. Okay. And then when I add this into my batter, I am going to sieve the entire mixture in. All right, so let's move this away and back to the big bowl. I have some butter here. And some powdered sugar, which I'm going to cream together. Okay. Now you can use caster sugar also, and a lot of recipes do ask for caster sugar, but I just find it a little easier to beat this. It just is a little quicker. So I've used powdered sugar instead. Okay, now since I used powdered sugar, if you notice, I didn't really have to cream this much because the sugar got dissolved very quickly. Now I've added some condensed milk to it, and I'm going to scrape the ends of this. If my son would have been here, he would have licked this entire bowl out. It is, after all, so tasty, this condensed milk. Ooh, okay. And now I'm going to start beating it again. Now, since we are not using egg, we need to aerate this mixture. So this process needs a bit of extra beating, right? Because we want to incorporate some air in it to give the cake a rise. Okay, now I'm going to add some milk to this. And I'm going to beat it again. Just going to mix this so that it doesn't splutter on me when I start the egg beater. Lovely. Okay, now we are going to start adding our flours. Just scrape the sides down and then we'll start incorporating the flour. So I've got a sieve here. Like I mentioned earlier, you need a sieve so that this gets evenly distributed in the batter. So, and with the cut and fold method, I'm going to fold in the flour. The batter initially looks very, very thin, but don't worry, as the flour gets incorporated in it, it will turn into a nice cake batter. All right, so now my batter is ready, and this batter actually you can indulge in right now itself, but I'm not going to advise you to do that. What I am going to advise you to do is when you're baking, use Asahi Kasei baking sheet because it truly is a wonder product. You don't need to grease your pan, and I will show you how it's done. You just take the sheet out, and thanks to the cutter that is provided, it's very, very easy to use it too. So you just pull it out and tear it like this. Okay, so now I already have my cake tin which I have lined with the sheet, and as you can see, there is no greasing at all. I have just cut it in the shape and I have lined my cake tin. All right. So that's how easy it is to use, and when I demold it, you will see that nothing gets stuck. All right. So now I'm going to transfer this cake batter into the cake tin. Okay, lovely. So the cake batter is inside. Now I am going to put it in my preheated oven at 180 degrees for about 35 minutes. So let's go bake this. So now my cake is ready and it is cooled, because you cannot demold a cake till it doesn't cool down completely. So I want to show you the demolding process, and I want to show you the magic of the Asahi Kasei cooking sheet that I have used, and I am going to do it like this. Right. So easily it has come out, and as you can see, there is absolutely no greasing on this paper, because you don't need to grease the baking sheet while using Asahi Kasei baking sheet. All right. So now this has been demolded. Now I want to decorate it and give you the final presentation, but for that I need to chill the cake completely for at least an hour or two. So I have a cake ready in the fridge. I'm going to go and get that out. All right. So here's my chilled cake. I am going to move this on a turntable with the help of a palette knife so that I can work on it easily. You need a turntable when you need to decorate the cake, because you have to go round and round and round. I'll show it to you. First, I am going to cut a layer of this cake right through and through the center, and for that you need a serrated knife. So let's begin. Lovely, nice clean cut. I will move this away first, and I am going to begin with this layer. What do you do when you begin frosting a cake? You start with some sugar syrup and you pour it all over, because you want to allow your cake to be as moist as possible even after it is completely ready, and it should stay moist for at least 2 or 3 days. Well, I don't know if a cake lasts that long, but if it does, at least you will have a moist cake. Okay, so you put it like this, or you use a butter brush so that it goes in nicely. Okay, you make sure the entire cake is covered with the sugar syrup. All right, now I am going to take some ganache. How is a ganache made? It's made with cream and melted chocolate, right? So you heat some cream and then you add some chocolate to it, chopped chocolate, and that turns into ganache. Now it also depends on how thick you want your ganache to be. Accordingly, you can decide the proportion of the chocolate to the cream. All right. So now I have added my first layer of ganache to this. I am just going to spread it around, and children love cakes, don't they? And if you hide some fruit in it, it's sone pe suhaga. Okay, so now I am going to take the excess chocolate out, and here I am going to hide my fruit. So I have some segments of oranges which I am going to place inside, and I also have some plums which I am going to add to it. Beautiful first layer of the cake, and here are some fresh plums which I have cut into small pieces. So my first layer is done. Actually, I want to add some more fruit to it. I am going to add a little more in the center so that when I add the layer, the second layer of cake, it is on the same level. Now comes the second layer of cake, and we pick it up with our palette knife and we place it on top. Move the excess chocolate. ठीक है, अब इसके ऊपर थोड़ा और sugar syrup. जैसे मैंने कहा, we need it to be nice and moist. ये अच्छी तरह से moist होना चाहिए. ताकि जब आप फ्रिज में इसे डालेंगे फ्रॉस्टिंग करने के बाद यूजुअली क्या होता है केक हार्ड हो जाता है और अगर आपने अंदर शुगर सिरप नहीं डाला हो तो वो बहुत ही हार्ड होता है, जब आप उसे काटने जाएंगे ना यू वोंट इन्जॉय द फील। अब इसके ऊपर एक और लेयर ऑफ गनाश, लेकिन उसके पहले मैं जो अपना पैलेट नाइफ है उसे थोड़ा सा क्लीन कर लूँगी। एंड इनफैक्ट इसे अगर आप गर्म पानी में डालें अपने पैलेट नाइफ को तो उससे और भी अच्छी स्मूथ फिनिश आती है। तो जो मैं इसमें डेकोरेशन करने वाली हूँ, दिस इज़ गोना बी अ रस्टिक वन, इट इज़ नॉट गोना बी अ वेरी स्मूथ वन। अगर आपको वो प्लेन चॉकलेटी फील चाहिए देन यू हैव टू मेक a thin ganache and just pour it on top, which we are not doing. We are giving it a rustic look. So just going to add some ganache on top and then just going to start spreading it. So now here you can use your creativity and do exactly what you feel like or what your kids want or the person who you're making the cake for wants, or you can just surprise them. All right, so my counter is clean. All I need to do is move this cake gently to my final platter and move this away. Nice. And if you want to add some color to your cake, just sprinkle some of these colorful little edible sprinklers and there you go. A beautiful eggless chocolate cake is ready and it has fruit in it. Can you believe that? It is actually not so unhealthy cake after all. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Do share your feedback right here and I will see you very soon.